and welcome to episode 81 of Stitched in Sweden. I'm Maria and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Stitched in Sweden. Today I am coming to you from a very rainy, grey November day in Stockholm, and I wanted to give you an update on what I've been making in the past 2 months or so. And yeah, show you some things that I've been working on. So it's mid-November now, November 18th I think, and for the past month, so basically from mid-October to mid-November, Thomas and I were staying at his parents' house because our kitchen was being renovated, which now it's done and it's beautiful and I'm super happy with how it turned out. So our kitchen was out of service basically, and it was just easier to move out of the apartment and give the construction workers their space to be able to finish everything as quickly as possible. So anyway, long story short is that during the month while we were away, I had limited access to my sewing machines because they're here, right? They're sitting on the desk that's right here in our apartment, and because our entire kitchen was in our living room, basically, both all the stuff from our old kitchen and then also a lot of the new kitchen parts like the the dishwasher, some of the cabinet pieces, the flooring, all of that were sitting also in the living room. So it has been a bit chaotic in here, and therefore have been unable to I was unable to sew for basically half of October and half of November. That meant that I did a lot of knitting. So I have some projects to show you that I have finished. Finished is a bit optimistic, but very close to finished. The first one I'll show you is actually the second sweater I've knit since the last time I talked to you. And this is the Forbes Sweater. This is a pattern from Brooklyn Tweed, and specifically Jared Flood is the designer of this sweater, and it knit up pretty quickly for me, but also this is the project that I brought with me to Thomas's parents' house, so this is pretty much what I was working on the entire time. The reason why it's not finished yet, or the part that is not finished, is the underarms. I haven't sewn them together yet, and the reason why I'm kind of holding off on that is because I'm not sure about the size of the body, because I'm 36 weeks pregnant today and therefore have not really been able to try this on to get a full feeling for how it's going to fit. But with the amount that I have been able to try it on, I'm worried that the body might be too big for my general fitting preferences. So I might want to change it, but I'll show you what it looks like for now. And I think I'm going to make the decision, like I'll finish off the sweater after I'm not pregnant anymore, probably, so that I'll decide if I want to change the body or leave it as it is. So here is the sweater. The main interesting part is the yoke for this one. I did a tubular bind off on the neck because that's my preference, and I also did that for the sleeve cuffs and also at the hem. The pattern calls for ribbing and then just a few rows of stockinette stitch that then kind of roll over. But I know that I prefer this, so this is what I do. So I will show you what this looks like currently. Actually, it would be maybe nice if I finish it now because, as you can see, it fits me well. I'm quite pregnant. So I might just finish it. I don't know. I keep going back and forth. It's not super cold here yet, so I think it might make more sense to wait and then I don't know. I just keep going back and forth. I could just finish it. So basically what I am trying to decide is if I finish off the armpits here, but then if later I decide, no, I actually want the body, the main torso body part to be knit smaller, then I would basically cut here and then knit down. This sweater was knit from the bottom up, but I would then, yeah, cut it here, knit down at a with fewer stitches on the needles, so that then the body would be more fitted. But I don't know, maybe it's fine. Maybe my sweater fitting preferences will be different too. I think that it fits really nicely in the shoulders, and maybe I should just finish it as is so that I can enjoy it now, because yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out. This is I knit this in Durirum Natura in the Gilet. I don't know, French is not was never really my strong suit, but I purchased a few of the new colors from Durirum Natura. This is one of them that came out, I guess now it was probably end of September or so. So the color that I used, this sweater is knit in this yarn, but in this color, and this color is Brouillard, B-R-O-U-I-L-L-A-R-D. And this is a 100% wool yarn. It's a French merino, I believe, and I have knit with it a few times. I have a pair of mittens, the January mittens. It's a colorwork pattern. I think it's free actually, that I knit last year, which are really lovely and warm, and yeah, I really enjoyed those. And those were knit out of this sport weight yarn. And like I said, this sweater is knit out of this one, which is the worsted weight. So I picked up a few of the new colors. Oops. Yarn down. A few of the new colors that came out for fall, I think. This was one of them. This is another one. Yeah, I just don't remember French at all. H-E-U-R-E and then blue, basically. So these two, and then this is also one of the new colors, and this one is cedar. No, not gonna do French. Cedar. So I have another sweater quantity in this. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to knit with it yet. I was thinking of the Morgan cardigan, which is a fisherman's rib cardigan, longer kind of cardigan, but I actually think I'm going to knit that in some stress knits yarn that I bought, which will arrive with my parents, my yarn mules, in December when they come to visit. I also have this sport weight in this green color, so I was thinking about a little sweater, or maybe some colorwork mittens, or just to have some extra skeins to do some yeah, little color work projects with, because I really enjoy working with this yarn. It's a woolen spun yarn, and it's produced in France. Okay, so it says French and Portuguese merino, and I think it's produced in France. Yeah, fabriqué en France, with respect to the sheep and the people. So I really like this yarn. This is the old label, and this is the new label. The yarn looks a little bit different, but in case you recognize the old one. This sweater is really cozy, and I think I should just finish it. I mean, worst case, I finish off the armpits, decide later when I'm not pregnant that I want it to be smaller, and then I could just cut it a little bit lower than the armpits, and that would be fine. So I've convinced myself I'll do that this afternoon. And then of course there's ends to sew in. I also have my, I think I showed this now it's been a month, but and now it has a funny bulge in the middle because it's been sitting on my chair. This is a pattern that I still need to write up, which why I'm showing you is because it also still has ends to weave in. Yeah, this is a shawl design that I should show you so that I have more motivation to pick it up and, I mean, just write the pattern. I want to add some tassels to it. And my test knitters have already started because I gave them the instructions for the first part, but then things got busy. But yeah, maybe someday soon. For now it sits on the back of my chair and keeps me warm when it's cold and I'm sewing. Okay, so the other sweater that I have 2 more sweaters that I've been working on. 2 more adult size sweaters. The other sweater is the one that I was talking about last time, which hadn't come out at the time of recording, but did come out very shortly afterwards, and it's the Wayne Pullover by Sari N. And I ripped out my Brooklyn Tweed Arbor yarn, which in the Degas color, that had been very neglected work in progress for many months. It was the, what was it called? Divide sweater. So in the end I decided to rip it out and cast on the Wayne Pullover. So I think I recorded mid-September, right before this sweater came out. And then, as I said, from about mid-October till mid-November, we were out of our apartment. And by mid-October, I had finished like 90% of the knitting on the Wayne Pullover. And then I left it here because I wanted to start this new project so that I would have one project with me at their house. Of course, that's a little bit risky because this one is in a very close to being finished but not quite finished phase, and I really should just, yeah, I should finish this one today. Also, all the pieces are finished and it just needs to be sewn together, and the neckband needs to be knit. Let me just take this one off. I think part of why I don't want to say that it has stalled, because I really love this sweater and I'm super excited to wear it, but I have the feeling that I won't be able to wear it now until after the baby arrives. Although I've been surprised in the last couple of days when I've been getting desperate with laundry not being done or whatever, that I've tried on a couple of my regular shirts like this one, and I can actually get them to fit over the bump. So sorry, this is a little bit scattered, but I'll just show you. This is the Givre, another French pattern. top, and this is the it's a pattern by Deer and Doe, and I sewed this up in a black cotton jersey, and then this is also a cotton jersey, but it has quite a bit more stretch actually, the striped part, from Art Gallery Fabrics. I bought it at on Minerva Crafts. So here is the very stripy bump, but this pattern actually comes in both a maternity version and a regular version, and I only have the pattern for the regular version, and this is that. But I am currently 8 months pregnant, and given that this striped fabric is very stretchy, it actually stretches right over the bump, and yeah, works pretty well. So this is the first time I've tried this shirt on since being pregnant, and I was pleasantly surprised that it is fitting, mostly. So let's see if we can just try this one on for fun, even though this is going to be a disaster because it's really not finished, but we'll get an idea. So this is the Wayne pullover. I think I should finish it because I think I could wear it, maybe. Ugh, so it's not really gonna work. We can pretend that this is pinned up there. So this is the Wayne pullover. Whew. And it has a lot of cool cabling. There's it's a little bit stretched. There's some seed stitch patterns in there that you can see, and the sleeves are also finished. So the body is totally finished. I just need to seam the sleeves, the shoulders. I'm trying to remember if this pattern was written in the round or if I just did it in the round. I'm pretty sure it was written in the round, and then of course you split for the armholes. Here's a sleeve. It has the cable pattern down the outside of the arm, and then it's a moss stitch on the underside. So yeah, that just needs to be also sewn on. Sort of feel like this is gonna be, it has a bit of a drop shoulder actually, the design of it, so I don't know. I need to sew it up and see how it works, but then once I sew it up, obviously I'll pick up for the neckband, and it has a ribbed collar neckband. So that is actually, this was the first sweater that I finished, and the Forbes was the second sweater, but it's almost done. This yarn was super nice to work with, as it was when I knit the Divide sweater previously, but then didn't finish it. But I think that this yarn from Brooklyn Tweed, which is the Arbor base, is really suited for cables. It has really nice, it's nice and bouncy. It has good stitch definition. I did tubular cast on for all the edges as usual. The pattern has the sleeve cuffed. I preferred to just do a tubular cast on and leave it not cuffed. So another sweater, 90% done. I think that one's 90% and Forbes is 99%. So maybe they will get finished really soon. The final sweater that I've been working on is the No Frills Cardigan. I picked this up. I'm just gonna knit to the end because of course I'm in the middle of the row. I'll talk to you about it a little bit, give you a preview. I started knitting this, today's Monday, and I started knitting a week ago on Sunday because I brought it to my friend's house. We had a little knit night together, or knit afternoon, and I had pretty much just cast on right before that because I wanted to bring an easy project to work on while we were together. And I actually had originally cast on with this yarn to knit the Morgan sweater that I talked about previously, which is the fisherman rib sweater. But the pattern, particular pattern calls for a, I want to say a worsted weight yarn, and I started knitting it with fingering weight held with a mohair because usually that gives me about a DK weight gauge, and then I figured, oh, that will be close enough and I can work out my stitch count and whatever, make one size bigger, that kind of thing. But the actual fisherman's rib texture itself wasn't coming out exactly how I had wanted it to. One of the friends who I went to go see for the knit night, she had cast on the Morgan in I think it was a worsted weight, or no, I think it was DK weight plus mohair, and so I was doing fingering weight plus mohair, and hers just looks so much neater and much more of the texture and gauge, kind of like weight of the, like the squishiness, and the fabric was just more of what I was looking for with hers, which is why I decided that I would order some stress knits yarn in DK, which is the base that I use for this shawl that I haven't finished, but I really like her yarn, so I ordered that, and I'm going to hold that with the mohair for the Morgan cardigan is my plan. So then I had this green yarn that I'm frantically knitting to the end of the row with, which didn't have a plan anymore. So I thought that it would be nice to have a warm and cozy cardigan for the winter. I've been tending to knit a lot of pullovers recently, even though I think when I first started knitting, I almost exclusively, or when I first started knitting sweaters, let's say, I originally started knitting out socks. Started knitting socks in October 2008. But when I moved on to garment knitting, I tended to knit mostly cardigans. Went through a phase of a lot of cardigans, but more recently I have been enjoying pullovers. But then I was thinking, okay, I'm most likely going to be doing some breastfeeding in the next months, so I thought it could be nice, maybe instead of having only hand knitted pullovers, to actually have a cardigan, which I could use, I could wear as like a nice layer. And I have I have one store-bought cardigan that I like wearing, that's kind of a longer, slightly oversized knitted fabric that I like. So okay, let's show you this. This is the No Frills. Ooh, where are you, needle? Okay, now I have the yarn wrapped around me, but it's okay. This is the No Frills cardigan by Petite, and I will stand up in a minute, but I'll just tell you what I'm knitting it out of. I think this is the yarn called for in the original pattern. I've used both of these yarns to knit the Oslo hat, which is also from Petite. The fingering weight part is Arwetta Classic. This is a superwash merino nylon, 80%, 20%. It comes in 50-gram balls, 210 meters. I think I have 6. I think the pattern calls for 7, but I'm planning on making it a little bit shorter and not having pockets. This is color 679. I think it's called like Atlantic something online. And this is the mohair, which is Tilia, also from the same company as this one. And this is, oh, color 570347. I thought these two looked nice together. I'm kind of obsessed with this forest green at the moment. Forest green and blush pink seem to be my favorites. Here's my little leftover ball of stress knits that I'm going to use to make the tassels. And this was the Palm Lines color, in case you're interested. So here we have the No Frills cardigan. You can see my normal waist point is here. So I'm just beyond the waist slightly. And I'm knitting the smallest size, which is yeah, the same size that I knit my No Frills pullover in. For the No Frills pullover, I actually knit a smaller size than the extra small because the arms were, yeah, there was too much ease for me, for my liking. The arms on this, I think, feel a little bit big, but it doesn't have to be like a super tight sweater. And I think it's going to be fine. It's just being held on some waist turn at the moment, so I think it will, yeah, be nice and cozy. This is really a nice, easy knit. Obviously, it's just stockinette, basically. There's a ribbed button band kind of thing that is knit at the same time, like it's knit on while you're, I mean, it's not separate, so let me just get out of my tangle here. You knit it as you go, which is really nice because that means that when it's done, it's done. I mean, of course I have 2 sleeves, which we know how that can go, but it's a clever construction that starts here at the back with this pretty much invisible seam here, almost invisible, and yeah, it grows from there. So I'm really enjoying the pattern so far, and it's just a simple knit that I can work on in the evenings when I need to have my feet up and I can't sew anymore. So yeah, by the evenings I really need to keep my feet up. I have my very attractive hospital socks, compression socks on today. So hoping to yeah, hold off, or hoping to be able to sit upright for a bit longer today than so I can keep sewing. But then I'll be on the couch with my feet up knitting on my No Frills cardigan. So yes, this is the yarn. Ugh, mohair just gets in my nose sometimes though. Really enjoying that. I remembered actually while I was talking about that one thing I was thinking about for this instead of the Morgan was to knit the Cybella pullover, which I've made in the past. It's by Carrie Bosich Hogue. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce her name, but I knit it before in Quince & Company. Is it Chickadee, which is the sport weight yarn, in Egret, I think, which is basically their undyed cream color, white, and it has a lace sort of textured yoke and then stockinette for the body. And even though this is a more worsted weight yarn, I think, yeah, I could check my gauge and fiddle around with the sizing a bit, and this might make a really nice pullover with a textured yoke, which would be similar to the Forbes also. But that was one of the, yeah, alternatives I had in mind when the Morgan didn't quite work out in that one. Okay, I have 2 more knitting projects to show you. One has been on hold since we moved out temporarily, because yeah, I didn't want to bring it with me because it's just too much to carry with me. But I'm super loving this little project. This is a sweater for a little girl who's coming soon. But this is I'm knitting the, I think 1 to 2 year size or something. This is the Tin Can Knits Playdate cardigan. And I'm knitting it in scrap yarn, obviously, as you can see. Basically I do 1 row of knits, and then I do 1 row of every other with the contrasting color, and then another knit row. There's a lot of ends to weave in, which I've already woven in the ends as I go for the most part, except for now at the very end here. But yeah, there's a lot of ends, so you just have to get used to that and get over it, I guess. But yeah, this, I'm not usually somebody who does scrappy projects, but I'm just really loving this one. I have my yarn all sitting here in this box. What's that black yarn? Anyway, I'm not using all of this, but here's some of my scraps. It's just fun to kind of lay out all the yarn and pick out some yeah, color combinations that I think look nice together. So really enjoying that, and it's just kind of a fun side project that doesn't have to be finished anytime soon, because yeah, like I said, it's gonna be for next winter when she is 1. So that's it for the knitting. I have a couple of sewing projects. So while we were at Thomas's parents' house, I decided, okay, just to make sure, I've already told my family to not watch this episode until after Christmas, but if you are watching, please stop. Okay, so I decided for Christmas that I'm going to make some Carolyn pajamas for my mom and my sister, the full long sleeve, long pants version with piping. So that is view B, if you look at the back. And I'm also going to make some pajama pants for my dad, which now the pattern is missing. So the Carolyn pajamas are from Closet Case Patterns, and I have picked up this Simplicity 8519 to make some pants for my dad, from pajama pants. And it says the classic slim cut with a closer fit but still comfy. So I think that sounds nice. So these ones have an elasticated waist and a drawstring and a true fly. I haven't made these ones yet, but I have made a lot of progress on the Carolyn pajamas, and the Simplicity ones are cut out anyway. So while we were at Thomas's parents' house, my sewing machines were here and very inaccessible because a lot of things from our kitchen were piled onto my desk. So yeah, basically there was just no way to sew. I decided though that while we were over there would be a good opportunity to get started on the sewing projects, because I knew that when we moved back it was going to be that much closer to when the baby comes, and I was going to be just that much bigger and maybe not super interested in, or not super able to, sit on the floor and cut out fabric, and that we would have other things to do, like getting our kitchen back in order and just preparing for life. So I decided to trace. So I spent some time tracing off the different sizes that I would need for the patterns, cutting out all those pieces, cutting out the fabrics, because at Thomas's parents' house they have a nice big living room table, so I was able to cut out the pieces on that, which made it a lot easier on my back, and meant that when my machines were available to me I could start sewing immediately and do it in stages. So because I can't sew for that long because my feet are just really too swollen at this point. It's taking a while to make these pajamas because first of all I'm doing the long sleeve long pants version for all of them, for all of the Carolyn pajamas, and I'm making 3 pairs at once. So it's really nice to do this kind of assembly line sewing, I would say, because first of all you get really good at each part, and it means that there's less like back and forth between my I mean there's the same amount of back and forth, but you can get more done, like when I move from the sewing machine to the overlocker, when I go to the iron, I can like do more stages at once because you're doing it for 3 patterns, for 3 pairs. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. But so far, and it's worked to do the 3 pairs of Carolyn pajamas at the same time because I'm using the same color thread. The Simplicity pair, I'm going to need a darker thread, so I'm going to do those ones separately after I'm finished with these Carolyn pajamas. I have finished the 3 pairs of bottoms. So I decided to do 3 because I decided, of course, I need a pair for myself. I think this will be very cozy, post-baby, hospital wear, home wear, everything. It's going to be nice to have a new pair of long pajamas, flannel pajamas in winter. So these ones are mine, and I bought this fabric last year with the intention of making long Carolyn pajamas for myself from Pretty Mercerie, which is a French fabric store. And I think I bought 2.5 meters, even though my size in this pattern calls for 3.5 meters. And I was just crossing my fingers that I would be able to make them, and if not, I was going to, if I wasn't able to do the full length of both, then I would pick to do shorts or short sleeve shirt and long pants or long sleeve shirt. Maybe some combination rather than the long and long. But I was able to fit the long and long out of the 2.5 meters. There was some pattern Tetris involved, and there's no pattern matching, which I'm fine with. Yeah, and the other thing is that my pair don't have pockets because I didn't have enough fabric for that. But I'm super happy with them. Here they are. And they have an elasticated waist. This is a really nice cotton flannel. I have the piping that I've done. This is the bottom pant leg. So this is Atelier Brunette. There's a lot of French in this podcast. This is the cobalt color of her piping. And I used that for most of mine, but I used the powder color for the piping around the neck. So I'm not quite finished with the tops yet. That's where I am today. But I have mostly finished, so I can show you. can see this is the powder color piping for the top collar part, and then I have the cobalt on the pocket here, breast pocket, and then I have the cobalt also is going to be on the cuffs for the sleeves. So these look really short, but that's because I don't have the cuff sewn on yet. That's what I still need to do. So here's a cuff. Need to sew that on, and then I'll need to do the buttons and buttonholes. And this is a little bit too small for me right now, but just barely. And I'll need to do the hem, the bottom hem. So, it's super cozy. And this, as I said, is my set. I made, the fabric for my sisters and my mom I bought on Minerva Crafts. I think it's .co.uk. This is my sister's pair. Hers has pockets and an elasticated waist. And ours have faux flies, so they're sewn shut, but my dad's will have a real fly. This is also a brushed cotton flannel that's super drapey and nice. Mine is a little bit more structured, whereas hers is quite drapey. And for hers, I did the forest color for the piping. And her top is at the same stage as mine is. So it's really almost finished. Needs the cuffs to be done, buttonholes, buttons, and then the bottom hem. That's hers. And then for my mom's, it's also in a brushed cotton. This is actually a brushed cotton twill. And her pants are also done. Let's see. This is the fabric. Floral print, and then this is the storm color piping. I kept going back and forth if I was going to use the cobalt, which is, yeah, this blue, or if I was going to use the storm. I decided in the end to go with the storm. So her pants are done, and then her shirt is also pretty much at the same stage, except I think, yeah, I've started with one of her sleeve cuffs, doing the piping for that and sewing on the cuff, which will then be folded like this. Yeah. So these have been taking a lot of, all of my sewing time, which is more limited just because I cannot sit comfortably at my sewing machine for as extended period of time as I used to be able to. That's fine. Then I'll just show you the my dad's fabric, which is brushed cotton, also from Minerva. And this is his. I'm going to use the forest piping, which is the same that I used for my sister on his. And I think they're gonna be nice. But I haven't started on those ones because I need to change the thread in my machines. So I'm gonna finish all of the ladies' Carolyn Pajamas first, and then I'll make his. Yeah, my family is coming to visit because we are expecting our baby mid-December, and they'll be here for that, and they'll be here for Christmas, and soon our Monstera will be replaced by our Christmas tree. So yeah, I would like to have these projects finished up soon. so that I can get them wrapped and put under the tree when we get our tree, hopefully next weekend. So, okay, really quick, I'm just going to show you some fabric that I got, because who knows the next time that I'm going to podcast, if we're honest. Even though I just said that I need to not be sewing so much, of course I have 3 other projects that I want to make urgently before the baby arrives. These ones will be a lot quicker than the pajamas though. The pajamas are very time intensive, but also so satisfying and so worth it. So I ordered some fabric from Guthrie & Ghani, which is a UK based fabric store. I really enjoy watching her YouTube videos as well. This doesn't have a plan for it. This is just some Rifle Paper Co., which I always love. And I got a 1/2 meter of this that I will make into something at some point. But that will just be for the stash at the moment. I think I have 1 meter of this gray marled fabric, which is a modal. It has really nice drape jersey. I'm thinking about sewing this into a Niko top, which is a turtleneck long sleeve. I would do the long sleeve version. It's a pattern by True Bias. My only hesitation is that, yeah, like I said, I will hopefully be breastfeeding soon. I tried on my Niko top. This was another surprise top that I tried on the other day, and it actually still fits over my bump. Especially if I made it, if it was a tiny bit longer, it would work better, but it does fit completely over because the fabric's nice and stretchy. For the one that I have already, which was a bamboo jersey. This one's even stretchier, slightly lighter weight. So, yeah, I would probably add a little bit to the seam allowance for the body just to make it a little bit looser. But it's a pretty fitted shirt, not super nursing friendly, but at the same time, I don't know, I just think it would be nice to have super soft. This fabric is so nice. The other option might be to do some kind of ebony tee, but I don't know if I don't think I would have enough fabric for that because it's quite a full body of the shirt, and then if I would want to do long sleeve for winter. So I think I might just do the Niko top, and if it works this winter, great. If it doesn't, then it will work next winter. So that's that fabric. Then, oh, so that one definitely has a plan. It doesn't have a plan. But my idea when I bought it was the Niko top. This fabric is a loop back jersey. I think it also might be modal. Anyway, really soft, super nice drape. This is, I think, Bordeaux, the Bordeaux color or something. I don't have good enough light right now to show you the texture, but it has a loop back, kind of French terry texture on the back, and then the front is really nice, smooth cotton. It feels like really good quality. I don't think it's cotton, I think it's modal. I'm not positive. But it feels like really good quality fabric. And this, I am planning on making a pair of Hudson pants, which is also True Bias, I think. I have that pattern already, so I've already adjusted the fit for me. I just need to buy some elastic for the waistband because I think it's a 2-inch elastic and I don't have that right now. So yeah, that is, and of course I want to make that before the baby comes because hello loungewear, nice cozy pants for in the hospital and afterwards. And then finally I have this blue fabric, which is a wool blend. And this is a little bit thinner fabric. So I think it's either if I stretch it, it's a little bit thin. But I think this would make a really nice t-shirt for under sweaters, and I could wear this under my Forbes, and that would be really nice. So for this, I'm planning on some kind of long sleeve basic t-shirt. I'm not sure what pattern I'll use yet, but just something simple. And I think this will be the last one on my to sew list, so it will be okay if I don't finish it before the baby comes. But I would really like to have the Hudson pants and my Niko top finished, and all of the pajamas and everything, you know. So yeah, that is what I have been working on for the past 2 months and what I have planned coming up. And other than that, I will see you in probably a few months. Happy knitting, happy sewing, bye.